Happy December and holiday season, everyone. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas for those of you that celebrate those. Happy birthday to all of you Sagittarians out there, as well as you Capricorns, because it'll be for those of you that have a birthday at the end of December. So before I get started with your reading, I want to go ahead and talk about the astrology of December. If you aren't interested in this or you don't want to listen, go ahead and skip ahead to your timestamp, which I will post below for your zodiac sign. Okay, so December should be a little bit more light of a month compared to some of our previous months. We have Jupiter entering Capricorn on December 2nd. So Jupiter will be in Capricorn for a year. It'll be a very lucky time for you Capricorns out there, and a chance for you to really focus on your goals and your accomplishments and what you want to achieve. You can really make a lot of progress next year with that placement. Jupiter is the planet of luck and good fortune and abundance. We have Mercury entering Sagittarius on December 9th. So for those few weeks, we'll be focusing more on expanding our perspectives, okay? Possibly traveling to other places in the country. You know, Mercury rules more short-term trips than long-term trips. Full moon in Gemini on December 12th. So that'll be a good time for you Geminis out there to wrap up the work that you've been doing this year. And for any of you that have, whatever house Gemini rules will be kind of the theme that we'll be letting go of and releasing for that full moon. Venus enters Aquarius on December 20th. So in terms of love and relationships, we'll be wanting to kind of reinvent and to be a little bit more creative and innovative in our relationships. The old status quo might be boring for those few weeks that Venus will be in Aquarius. It's a good time to try new things, to have conversations. It'll also be a good time to make money doing things that are unconventional. We have the winter solstice on the 21st. The sun enters Capricorn. And then we have a new moon solar eclipse on December 25th on Christmas for those of you that are on the Pacific coast. For those of you that are on the eastern coast, it'll be the 26th. But this new moon will be closing out we've already closed out most of the eclipses of the year. This one will close out in the beginning of next year. But it is a new moon, although because it's a solar eclipse, it's not the best new moon to be making new wishes. In general, you don't want to start projects in the middle of a solar eclipse season. Obviously, always go with your intuition, right? The stars are just meant to guide us, not tell us what to do. But it is going to be a very lucky new moon because not only is the moon going to be conjunct the sun, but Jupiter will also be conjunct the moon and the sun. Jupiter, as I just mentioned, is the planet of good luck and good fortune, and it'll be forming a beautiful trine to Uranus. So expect unexpected good things, unexpected good fortune, good fortune that comes seemingly out of nowhere. So it's going to be a really beautiful way to close out the year. The 28th, we have Mercury entering Capricorn, which begins the alignment of 5 planets that will be in Capricorn in the middle of next year. So I'm not going to talk too much about next year, although we have some very significant astrological events happening in January. All of us astrologers are very excited and anticipating what is going to happen because we're going to have this Saturn-Pluto conjunction on January 12th. It's going to be very significant. So stay tuned for the January readings because I will definitely talk about that and how that can impact you as well. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your 2019 and your time with family over the holidays. And so let's go ahead and get started with your reading. All right, moving on to Aquarius. Let's get started with Aquarius. What are the themes that you'll be working with in December? Antelope spirit. Life is speeding up. I feel like this has a lot to do with the Venus entering Aquarius towards the end of this month. So that may be activating your sun and whatever other planets you have in Aquarius. So let me pull some tarot cards just to see what other things we've got going on this month before I talk more about Antelope spirit. All right, so I have the Judgment card, which is a card of liberation. It is a card of answers and clarity finally received. It is definitely a card of moving forward. And then I've got Two of Wands, which is a card of thinking about a decision, thinking about making a move, possibly a career change. And then I've got Five of Pentacles. So I do feel like this might have to do with a career change or something to do with our career, because this is a card of feeling, you know, kind of down and out and financially struggling and unsure of what to do next. So let me pull some clarifier cards for each of these just to get more specifics in terms of what these have to do with. So clarifying the Judgment card. All right, so for the Judgment card, got awareness and self-love. Okay, and here we have, this is an elk, but it's another horned animal. And I feel like with the horned animals, because they can leap and jump so quickly and they can be so fast to respond to their environment, I feel like that might be something about what this has to do with, is learning to think on your feet, perhaps. You know, practicing awareness of your surroundings, and, you know, extending yourself some self-love this month. So let me pull some more clarifier cards just to see what else is going on, because it's still kind of vague right now. Clarifying Two of Wands. All right. Oh, I love that. Okay. So see how we have in the Two of Wands, he's holding this planet, this globe. Well, I have maturity, and then I have we are the world. So I feel like this is less about having to make a decision as it is focusing on that planet, on the world. Okay. So we are reaching maturity. I feel like that's what the Judgment card has to do with. It's where we are reaching a point of greater maturity and understanding of our connectedness and our role in the world. As I said, you know, awareness. Let me clarify Five of Pentacles just to see what this is about. Okay. So clarifying Five of Pentacles, we have car, get into the driver's seat of your own life. And then I've got angel, tap into your higher wisdom. So with this, I'm also kind of getting, being aware of where we are overly focusing on things that really don't have an impact. I'm also kind of getting that we may be too focused on ourselves and not focused enough on the world around us and the people around us. So what I'm kind of getting with this overall message is like a call to act according to a higher cause. You know, to focus less on yourself, almost like you're being, you know, you're being called to act and to contribute to a higher cause this month, Aquarius, especially with Venus moving into Aquarius towards the end of this month. That's what this Judgment card is about. This is almost like the Pied Piper, right? He's like playing this instrument in order to summon others. And I feel like that's kind of the role that you'll be playing this month, because you've reached a greater stage of maturity, and now you have to share that with the world in order to bring the world, I can't articulate this very well. Like, you know, Aquarius is the sign of humanitarianism, of progress, of forward motion. And so I feel like you are being summoned this month to really contribute to that forward motion, to advancing society and advancing humanity. So not focusing so much on your own personal stuff this month. It doesn't mean you don't focus on your own needs and you don't have your own, you don't meet your own needs, but I'm seeing that we're being, you know, getting in the driver's seat of your own life. I'm feeling like this is more about getting into the driver's seat of leadership, because you're being called to act to the benefit of the greater good. All right. So it's a very kind of message of leadership for sure. Let me pull some more clarifier cards, because I want to see what else this is about. Well, here we have it again, the world, the world card. So huge emphasis on the world, on self-mastery. This is a card of self-mastery. It's also a card of maturity because we're reaching the end of a cycle. And then we have the Hierophant. This is a card of spiritual leadership, of sharing your beliefs with others, of providing security and stability for others in terms of wisdom, you know, being a spiritual guide, so to speak. And you don't have to be a spiritual person to be able to do this, but this is definitely a card of leadership, leading the masses. So I don't know specifically what this is about. I guess we're going to see whatever is on the horizon in terms of the collective, but you are definitely being called to serve the world in some way in a leadership capacity. And you will be guided and you'll know what to do. And it may be a really large thing. It may be a big effort. It could be a very small effort. It could just be extending kindness to the people around you, but you are being the role model and the example for others this month, okay? And thinking not so much about yourself and your own issues. Doesn't mean that they aren't important, but I'm seeing that they are going to take more of a back burner this month because we are focusing on our contributions to the world this month, all right? And I feel like that does have a lot to do with Venus entering Aquarius on December 20th. So let me pull one final message. For Aquarius, okay, that one wants to come out. A personal issue reaches resolution. All right, so I feel like that has to do with this Five of Pentacles. So whatever it is that has been demanding your time and attention in your personal life, I'm seeing that that will resolve itself this month so that you will have the time and energy to focus on your higher calling this month. Okay, so I feel like that is a little bit more clear. Thank you, Spirit, for clarifying that. So yes, whatever this concern is, this worry is that you've been focused on, whether it's a family issue or monetary issue, it is going to come to a resolution this month so that you can be in this higher place of service. And that makes a lot of sense because the Judgment card is also a card of resolution. So I'm seeing that there will be some positive assistance for you this month, resolution of a issue so that you can be of higher service, okay? You are going to be called, so be prepared, all right? That is Aquarius. Let's move on to Gemini. All right. Oh, hello to all of my fellow Geminis out there. Let's see what the theme for December is for us Geminis. Elephant Spirit. Learn from the past. All right, so this might be a month of more reflection. I know we've talked about this in the past few readings, Geminis, that we've been doing a lot of self-work in terms of relationships and in terms of reconciling duality and how you define healthy relationship, a lot of relationship shadow work. So I feel like we're going to be closing out that cycle this month. It may be a time spent in reflection. Let me go ahead and pull some tarot cards just to see specifically what we'll be working on this month. All right, so we have two kings here. We have King of Wands, we have Ace of Swords, and King of Cups. So King of Wands is a very passionate, very generous, adventurous, bold energy. Definitely a card of travel. It can also be, on the negative side, a card of impulsiveness and arrogance. Ace of Swords is insight, inspiration, new ideas, communication, new contact. King of Cups is the king of our emotions. He is a very powerful leader in that he is highly compassionate and deeply empathetic, but he is in control of his emotions. So he doesn't let his emotions control him. This is definitely a very nurturing, very confident, kind king. So I want to see what these are all about. Let me pull some clarifier cards for each of these. What are we learning from the past in regards to these cards? Let's clarify King of Wands. Ooh. So when clarifying King of Wands, I have sincere relationships and seek seclusion. So, I mean, I definitely feel like what we have been working on this year is how we define genuine relationships, right? Because Geminis can sometimes be quick to rush into relationship with someone that we find is super interesting and fascinating, right? We can be very impulsive. And so with this, I think that's what this is about. King of Wands can be a very impulsive, almost like a conquering energy, right? Because he's like pointing out the globe and the areas perhaps that he wants to conquer. And so with that, what I'm getting is we are learning not to view relationships as a conquest and not to dive in too quickly, but instead to view them as, you know, something that takes time to build. Sincere relationships based on openness and authenticity and taking time to get to know each other. So I feel like that is a very specific message. And then seek seclusion. With this, I'm also just getting patience. You know, not being too impulsive, not being too quick to dive in and spend all your time with someone, even though Gemini does love their freedom. I often see, and it has been in my own experience, when we're super interested in someone and we just want to discover them, we might spend more time with them. Hey, kitty cat. More time with them. Saoirse's coming to say hello. Than with our close loved ones or family. We can kind of go off the grid sometimes. And so I'm seeing that, you know, it's important to maintain balance and to view relationships as something that does take time to build and to get to know someone. All right, so let's clarify Ace of Swords. 写下 Ace of Swords. All right. So when clarifying Ace of Swords, you definitely have new beginning, new communication. And then we've got conditioning. So this is the double card, 15. So this is, I feel like almost we have to be careful of our words sometimes, because that is something else that can happen with us. With us Geminis, we can be very blunt, very quick to speak our minds and the truth without thinking about the impact on others, right? And that can inhibit forming a sincere relationship. So we do have to watch our words, but also be mindful of our thoughts. You know, if we're thinking out of fear, if we're lashing out, or if we're obsessing over things not working out the way we want them to, right? Avoiding the ego-based mentality. And yeah, no, this is very impulsive. The Fool is very impulsive. Sisha! Hold on, she wants to go out. Let me let her out. Okay. So with this, I'm definitely getting not being too quick to think without considering your words, right? Because then that can leave you like tumbling off of this cliff. There may be effects of that we didn't plan for, and not lashing out of ego. So it's really just kind of monitoring our thoughts and our communication. I feel like this is part of the lessons that we are wrapping up this year in terms of understanding how to create sincere, fulfilling relationships, right? So let me clarify. King of Cups. All right, so when clarifying King of Cups, I have shopping. Pay attention to what energizes you. Okay, so paying attention to our emotions and our sense of excitement, perhaps. That's one of the ways we can get out of our head, if our head is what's leading to, you know, speaking in a way that we might regret or thinking in a way that causes stress and anxiety, is paying attention more to our body, getting more in our body, because, you know, Geminis are ruled by Mercury. We can have very, very hyperactive, overactive minds, and that can easily lead to anxiety, to excessive worry, and to thinking or saying things that we may regret. So embodiment is a good word. focusing more on getting in our body and learning to regulate our emotions as well, because King of Cups is a master of emotional regulation, and paying attention to the energies that move through us and learning to get out of our head, perhaps getting into our body, maybe doing meditation as a way of getting clearer. Because again, we have a lot of this beginner, naive, innocent energy and impulsive energy, and I feel like this is what we are working to overcome or to manage, so that we can be more patient in creating sincere relationships. And then I also have X, reconnect with a lost aspect of your soul. So for some of you out there specifically, there may be an X that is going to come into the picture. If that resonates with you, that may not be the case for all of you. It may or may not be someone that you're going to rekindle a relationship with long term. It could just be that there's still some work you have to do. Either way, I feel like all of us Geminis, I hate to say this because I thought our work was done and then December would be great. No, December is us wrapping up the year of relationship shadow work that we have been doing, reconciling the duality, reconciling how we relate to the other, and paying attention to where we are triggered and resolving those within ourselves. So it's definitely been a year of shadow work, and I feel like December is going to be reflecting on that. There may still be some healing and some triggers we have to work through this month, you know, but I kind of feel like we are really being held accountable this month. Man, I hate to say this because it resonates so much with my own situation, and this is just like a huge glass of ice cold truth to the face right now. But we really are being held accountable for our actions this month. I don't see this as necessarily being something that someone else is responsible for. It doesn't mean that there wasn't an ex that did you wrong, but I'm seeing that we are really working on taking accountability for some of the impacts that our words and our decisions have in our relationships, not being so impulsive, not being so quick to think or to act or speak in a way that negatively impacts our relationships, because we are really learning how to build sincere relationships. And to have a sincere relationship, you have to have openness and authenticity, mutual respect. It takes patience. You know, healthy relationships take time to build, and I think that's what we are working on as well. And kindness. You know, it doesn't mean there isn't honesty and conversations about our needs, but doing it in a way that is kind and not always blunt. Sometimes watching our words, you know, learning from the past, because then we have X here. So yeah, there's some harsh truth here, Geminis, but we can do it. We can work through it. It's all for our own growth and maturity. So let me close out with a final message. Whew, that truth is hitting me hard, man. Final message for Geminis. Prosperity lies ahead. I really like this. You know, prosperity not just in the monetary sense, but also abundance in all ways. I feel like we really will be rewarded once we close out this year if we do our work, if we really reconcile our past relationships and learn from the past. There's going to be some beautiful things on the horizon for us next year. We're going to feel more grounded. We'll have stronger, healthier relationships. Or if we're not in a relationship, we may very well meet someone that will be that stable person for us. Because this is a great card too. This is a card of stability and security. And what I think about this, for all my beloved Geminis out there, because we are so scattered and our energies are all over the place sometimes, you know, Gemini really needs someone who's stable to ground them. Not to imprison them, because Geminis need their freedom, right? We need to be with someone that enables us to be free and adventurous, but also someone who really grounds us, because we are so frantic and we flip to and fro. We need someone who's more of a solid presence, right? So I feel like that's also what's going to be on the horizon is, you know, stronger relationships, more stable relationships. Perhaps a more stable partner will arrive for you, but that is the reward that lies ahead if we learn from the past and we do the work and we recognize our own pitfalls when it comes to relationships, okay? So regulating your emotions, getting in your body and paying attention to what energizes you, not so much in your head. Be careful of your thoughts and being too quick to speak your mind, and be aware of impulsiveness, right? Because healthy relationships, again, are based on openness, honesty, mutual respect, kindness. and they take time and patience to build. So that is the reading for Geminis. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. Last but not least, Libra. What is the theme for Libra in December? Starfish. Open to infinite possibility. I love that. All right, so let's pull a few tarot cards just to clarify the energies we'll be working with, the themes for this month. Ooh, pretty cards. All right, we've got the Star. This is a card of healing. This is also a card of divine intervention and divine blessings. So I love that this comes out next to Starfish, open to infinite possibilities. Definitely surrendering to the divine this month. And then we have Ten of Cups, which is a cup. It's a card of fulfillment, of spending time with family, of focusing on the things that really bring you joy. So some really beautiful messages coming through. And then we have Three of Pentacles, which is about building your foundations, being mindful of the foundations you are creating and making sure that they are stable and that they will nurture and protect you for the months and years to come. So this is not just financially, but in your personal relationships, your health habits, because I know health came up for Libras last month, making sure that whatever decisions that you are making, that they are providing for you in the future in a healthy way. Okay, so let me get some cards to clarify each of these. Clarifying the Star. I love it. I'm getting such good vibes for you, Libras. So here we have the Star. She's like standing in this water, right? And then we have flow. So definitely just surrendering to the divine flow. I definitely see divine intervention for you, Libras, this month. You know, the divinity is putting their hand in for you this month to really help guide you. And we also have 2 8s, because this is 7 plus 1 is 8, and we have another 8. 8 is definitely expansion and opportunities. And then we have replenish. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a month of surrender for you, Libras, just kind of surrendering and going with the flow. Let me clarify 10 of Cups. Ooh, now we have 2 10s. Okay. So with 10 of Cups, I have rebirth. This is 10 of Swords. So this is a card of endings, of completion. I'm actually seeing this as a really positive card because we've reached a point now, Libra, where you've put in a lot of work and perhaps focused a lot on family and building healthy relationships for yourself. And these relationships are going to help to strengthen you, because I also view the Lion as being the strength card. So I'm seeing we are in a completion cycle for you, Libras, and there's definitely going to be a rebirth for you, and you're going to experience greater joy and fulfillment, especially harmony in your partnerships. And we have awareness as well. This is the Chariot, which is kind of a similar energy to this, because the Chariot card is a man riding in his chariot, right, driven by 2 lions or sphinxes or horses, depending on the card. And then this one is also kind of riding this lion. So I'm getting almost like a conquering energy. I'm gonna say conquering, but like you've risen to the top and you're now on top of the lessons that you've been experiencing or working through this past year. And this is like an energy of rising above is really what I want to say. Like you've climbed to the top of your mountain and you are rising above. You are being reborn. You are doing your victory lap. You're going to start to experience greater fulfillment in your relationships. All right. But surrendering and going with the flow. So let me clarify 3 of Pentacles. All right, so clarifying 3 of Pentacles, we have Cat. Take care of yourself and trust that if you do, you'll always land on your feet. Okay, and then we have alien. Accept that you are an unrepeatable, spectacular phenomenon. So yeah, I feel like, as I mentioned, you know, focusing on our foundations and making sure that we are nourishing ourselves with our decisions, with our finances, with the choices that we make, but also really honoring yourself and taking care of yourself. You know, this may have been a tough year for a lot of you. That's why we have replenish and the star stepping in, you know, surrendering more to flow. But that's also, you know, all of that turbulence or friction or growth you may have done this year, it's contributing to your victory lap, right? It's contributing to why you are now able to rise above and to start fresh. Because again, with all of these tens, we're closing out a cycle, which means we're beginning a new cycle next year. This year is coming to a close. And so honoring yourself and honoring the work that you've put in and honoring your own uniqueness and taking care of yourself. And again, making sure you're monitoring your foundations is going to be important for the month of December. So let me close out this reading with a final message for Libra. Communication is key. Okay. All right, so with this, what I'm getting is, because we are, we still have open to infinite possibilities. So this has to do with blessings from the universe, as I already mentioned. But if you are needed to take some time out for healing and reflection, and to honor yourself and to do your kind of victory lap, right? What I am seeing is being open and communicating with your loved ones, right? So making sure they know what your needs are. If you do need to disconnect for a while or disappear for a while, communicating with your loved ones, because, you know, family and close relationships are going to be important this month, and building strong foundations. And I'm seeing that how we build those strong foundations is also through communication, communicating your needs with others and being open and honest about that. You know, don't try to be too much in that people-pleasing energy, wanting to keep everyone happy, because that's what you do, Libra, and you're so great at that. But sometimes you have to take care of yourself, and in order to do that, you need to be honest with others about what you need, okay? But for the most part, just surrender to the divine flow this month. I'm seeing good things coming to you, Libra, and take some time out for healing. All right, so that is your reading for December. I wish you all a wonderful holiday. Thanks for watching. Bye.